Today I want to talk about a blockchain tech company that was once valued at under $1 million. Then it turned into a multi-million dollar company valued at around $100 million. And why I think it's going to be a multi-billion dollar blockchain tech company. Let's talk about ShareRing. Imagine for a second if you want to go on holiday or you want to go on a business trip. Think about everything that's involved in organising that. So first of all, you've got to organise flights. If you're anything like me, you don't do kind of package deals or anything. You do everything separately because it's going to work out cheaper. So you have to organise a flight first and foremost. Then you have to organise travel insurance. Then you might have to organise accommodation. It could be a hotel. It could be kind of Airbnb type accommodation. Then you might have to organise activities and tours. And what about car rental? And what about updating or uploading your kind of passport details? If you're going to the likes of Thailand, if you need e-visa on arrival, you're going to have to wait in big queues in order to do that. So imagine you've got all that to do. There's loads of different things to do. And you've got a payment system as well. How are you going to pay for it as well? And if you want to do some shopping before you get over there, you can actually shop before you get over there, deliver it to your home, wherever you're going to be renting, or your hotel, wherever you're going to be kind of going to the hotel as well. So imagine then if you had one app to do all of that. And the tech underpinning that allows you to do all of that as well. You might be thinking, that would be amazing, that would be fantastic. And that's what ShareRing are doing with the travel industry. However, what's even more amazing is the travel industry is only a tiny part of the possibilities of what ShareRing can do. They're focusing on that just now, just to show the world what they can do and just to have that market in place. But what I'd like to do is talk about the possibilities of what ShareRing can do in the future with the underlying tech. That is the really exciting part about ShareRing. Not what they're doing just now, which is how they've got to where they are just now, but what are the possibilities that ShareRing could do in the future. So very quickly, what we're going to do is just say, what is ShareRing? Essentially, what ShareRing is they're developing an ecosystem for the sharing economy and circular economies that encompasses traditional rentals, travel, e-commerce, and the services that also connect them together. So if we look at it, what ShareRing are a tech company, as I said, and a blockchain company, first and foremost. So they've got ShareLedger, which is a blockchain platform built on Tendermint. And within those, you've got modules. And these modules contain the core of what ShareRing is. So they've got ShareRing ID, they've got the ShareRing app, they've got the ShareRing shop, which we'll speak a little bit more about later on. And they've got ShareRing Pay as well. And what happens is the partnerships that the ShareRing have made will plug into these modules. Now ShareRing have made over 20 different partnerships in 13 different sectors, and these partners can plug into the various modules that ShareRing offer via a traditional API. So there's no need for new partners to know anything about blockchain at all. Just like the customers that use the ShareRing app, they don't need to know anything about blockchain either. This is why ShareRing is so good as well, because they've made it so easy to onboard new customers and onboard new partners as well. And these partners can plug directly via the API on a white label basis or as an aggregator on the ShareRing app. So on a white label basis, if a company wants to come on, they can use all the services from ShareRing and they'll pay a fee to ShareRing as well, but they can essentially be a separate business altogether. They'll just be plugging into ShareRing on the back end. So it's a white label system. And obviously ShareRing will receive payments from partners via setup fees and transaction fees as well. So as an example, the recent huge partnership with the Thailand government and ShareRing ID product means that millions of users entering Thailand can use the EVOA, that's the e-visa on arrival system, which utilizes the ShareRing ID in the background. So this is going to drastically speed up the process of visitors entering Thailand and is going to save the Thai government a huge amount of money. But it also means that millions of transactions per month will be flowing through the ShareRing ID system, which means more money because every single transaction creates a fee for ShareRing as well. Now, using the EVOA system and the ShareRing ID, it's expected that there's going to be 45 million transactions with 30 million users going through this system. That's huge, and that's only one partner. And obviously that might change because of COVID-19. And speaking of COVID-19, ShareRing have also brought out a COVID passport, or they're working on a COVID passport to integrate with the app as well. So this is what they brought out, this kind of health certification journey. So COVID tracking for the staff, and for the travellers as well. So that essentially they're going to get health certification stored on the blockchain. So it's proof of health tied to a QR code. And the secure identity for any part of the supply chain as well, using the One ID. So you're either going to get the all clear and you move through a different chain, you just enter the country and you can shop or you can visit as is, or you might have to go to a testing area and get tested for it and then get the all clear from there. And so different parts of the journey. So this ensures that countries can be safe in the knowledge that people entering their country do not have the COVID-19 virus. So let's speak a bit about the partnerships they've got. Okay, ShareRing have currently got over 20 partnerships, and when we're talking about partnerships, we're not talking about ShareRing uses Google search, so that means it's partnered with Google. We're talking about real partnerships here, where they both help each other out in a kind of nurturing way. So these are just some of the partnerships I've got. Dipia Insurance has got millions and millions of users and could be up to 45 million transactions per year. We've also got Home and Away. We've got Keys, which is over 2 to 3 million users as well. We've got YouGoShare, Monash University, GTI Holdings Limited, Coin Analyst, Tendermint, Mobi, Digital Capital Management, Changely, CoinStreet, Credits, BYD, another big car rental company, Nano, Tron, which we all know about, the Australian luggage company, DJI, and of course eVisa Thailand, which we've spoken about already, and that's going to be huge, owned by Thai government obviously, as is Dipia Insurance, which is part owned by the Thai government as well. So they're really making inroads into Thailand and other Asian countries as well. So this is huge, and the amount of transaction all these partnerships are going to bring is going to be absolutely massive. So also just announced, ShareRing joins China's International Blockchain-Based Services Network, the BSN. And BSN is targeting billions of users domestically and internationally, aiming to become the largest blockchain ecosystem in the world. This is absolutely massive for ShareRing, and it's one of only 7 or 8 companies or projects that are on this ecosystem, or in this ecosystem, joining the likes of Ethereum on there and Neo as well. This is absolutely massive, make no mistake, and this is going to bring millions upon millions of transactions to ShareRing as well. This is huge, a huge deal for them. Okay, so let's quickly look at the ShareRing team, because a lot of people don't know who the team are, because Tim Boss is usually in front of camera, and that's because he's a tech guy. So Tim Boss has funded and been a founder of multiple companies. Key's been one of them, and he's been very successful in a lot of different areas, particularly in the tech area as well. Tim Boss is the one you usually see being interviewed. Brilliant kind of mind as well. I've got Rohan Lepage as the COO. We've got Neville Christie as an investment director, Peter David, non-executive director, and Jane Sadler-Kidd as well. So they're all co-founders, but they're kind of more or less in the background. Tim Boss is the one kind of front and center because he is the kind of tech guy and blockchain kind of expert in here. But the other ones, make no mistake, are huge as well, and they bring a lot to the business side of things. They're working in the background, working on the business, and they know their stuff as well. So I think it's important to look at the actual team itself. Obviously they've got a much bigger team as well. This is the kind of founders we're talking about here, and we've just not got enough time to look at the whole team, but they've got a big kind of team and an ecosystem working with them as well across the world, not just in Australia but around the world as well, particularly in kind of Thailand, and when they're making inroads in kind of Hong Kong and China, there's going to be bigger teams there as well. Okay, let's look at the ShareRing Tokenomics. So basically ShareRing is a dual token system, and they've got the Share token, which is SHR, and they've got SharePay, which is SHRP. Now SharePay is done in the background. Nobody sees this. It's part of the blockchain. It's a stable coin for ShareRing as well. So Share token is a digital utility token that drives ShareRing transactions to be written to the ShareRing ledger that is managed by the ShareRing platform. And SharePay is a base currency stablecoin that will allow users of the ShareRing platform to pay for the use of third-party assets. So this is the ShareRing flowback mechanism, and basically every single transaction that goes on the ShareRing ledger will have a fee attached to it as well. So it might be 2 cents or up to 5 cents or something. So if you think about the millions of transactions, what we've spoken about already, and the millions of transactions coming through the ShareRing ledger, then you're talking about millions times 2 cents. So for every 1 million transactions, that equates to around about $20,000. So $20,000 to $50,000. Now, if we're talking about millions of transactions per month and more partners coming on board, we're talking a lot of money. We're talking up to $1 million a month, 2 million a month, 3 million a month. It's only going to go up. But the beautiful thing about ShareRing is what they do, they have a flowback mechanism. So once these transaction fees come in and once the money comes in, what ShareRing then do is they will then go to the exchanges and randomly do buyback orders from the exchanges, the various exchanges that ShareRing are on at the moment on the Share token. And what they do with that as well is the flowbacks, 50% will be distributed amongst the master node holders who host an active node on the blockchain at that time. And then we've obviously got stakers on here as well, people who stake it, and 50% will go to ShareRing Limited. So that will be provided to ShareRing Limited for distribution to team members, providers and developers who will continuously contribute to the overall ShareRing ecosystem. So basically all the transaction fees are going to go back for market buybacks. And what this does, it reduces the supply of ShareRing tokens available in both public and private markets. It brings new capital and liquidity into Share Ledger, and they expect the token flowback program to substantially magnify the value creation of the ShareRing ecosystem. So this is all really exciting as well. So it means this is deflationary, almost deflationary, not quite, not technically deflationary, but it's almost deflationary as well because it's taking tokens out of circulating supply, giving it to the master-node holders. They keep a hold of it or they can sell it if they want as well. So it's not going to be inflationary. That's the main part of it. Normally when we've got something like Ethereum, which is inflationary, ShareRing is not inflationary. So that's why it can do that, because of these market buybacks and the flowback system as well. Okay, so what's coming up for ShareRing? Well, we can expect the app to come out soon. We know the app is coming out very soon. Just now, that's going to have everything on it. We've looked at kind of what it's going to have on it. It's got car rental, kind of travel, flight booking, hotel booking. It's got the One ID attached to it as well. It's going to have the shop as well, ShareRing Shop. We spoke about that. So ShareRing Shop is going to be tied into Thailand as well. There's going to be a major partnership in Thailand coming up, which is pretty amazing as well. And they've done the test in Melbourne with some good results. Here's one of the adverts. And you can see here we're launching ShareRing Shop in Thailand in Q3 this year. We've got an operations partner there and we'll be branding it under their name. They're a well-known and trusted brand there. So think about all these partnerships. If they're going to be doing the ShareRing Shop in Thailand, again, remember or think about all the transactions that are going to go through the shops. So imagine millions of people in Thailand using the app or the underlying ShareRing kind of token as well. So there's millions and millions of transactions coming through. So this is a brilliant business model. And we've also got the ShareRing Foundation as well, which is a transparent charity organisation. So Timothy Boss said, with the ShareRing Foundation, we're donating a percentage of all bookings on our platform to charities that will help the environment and reduce over-tourism. Our focus on the sharing economy will also help to reduce waste. And in an AMA as well, it says we're going to create a wallet that's dedicated to the foundation. This wallet will be public as will our accounts for the foundation. It's very important to be transparent here, which is another thing I love about ShareRing. DeFi is coming soon as well for ShareRing. So Timothy Boss has kind of teased us as well. He says, imagine if there's a DeFi product that allows you to trade between fiat currencies and or top cryptos instantly and with almost zero fees. And imagine if you could stake your fiat stablecoin crypto and earn a high APR percentage from every swap. So this is, that was on August the 29th. So there is DeFi coming out as well. And also this has been teased as well, not much information on this, but expansion into logistics as well. So this could be another area that ShareRing are going to get into as well. Probably will be getting into. It's been teased, but nothing else has come out yet. So there's all these things going on for ShareRing. So what I want to do quickly is just go over this where we are just now with Share Token with regards to the price and the kind of technical setup that we're in at the moment as well. Now you can see here we're currently trading in a channel at the moment, and it's gone up big time. We know it's kind of gone up big time from here, from round about kind of May up until August, 27x, so 2,770% it has gone up, which I'm gutted about because I was out about because I panicked and sold everything in March. But that's by the by. This is still a great company. This is why I followed it. I was gutted, but this is why I did keep on following, because I know it is a fantastic, amazing company. So this structure here, what can we expect? We can expect a kind of bottom to come in round about maybe 2 cents, 1.8 cents up to 2 cents, kind of bounce off that region and kind of go up. And we could expect something like this to happen. So we just don't know, obviously, but we're talking in the region of, if it stays in that channel and keeps on going, we're talking in the region of getting up to about 50 cents, possibly before the end of the year, but that's obviously not 100%. So I was just looking at what's happened in the past, and we can probably expect more of the same from ShareRing as well, because of everything that's going on, because of all the partnerships, because of everything that's teasing out, because of DeFi, just because of everything. I think they could at least get up to 50 cents by the end of the year, or possibly beginning of next year. But that's from a place of 2.6 cents in a minute, 2.69, so say 2.7 cents at the moment. So for me, I think is a brilliant price to get in at, and I think it's a brilliant place to start as well. Obviously, they have been much lower, as I said, but it's still a great place. We're talking about a possibility of a multi-billion-dollar project here. Okay, that is ShareRing. But what's most exciting for me, what ShareRing are doing just now is amazing. They've done amazing over the last couple of years, since 2017, since it was started. But what they're doing is they're just kind of showcasing what is possible with ShareLedger. That's really all they're doing here. Now, I'm not saying that is not brilliant. They've done amazing. They've done brilliant, and everything they've done to get to here is just fantastic. But to me, what they're doing is they're saying, okay, this is what we can do. But I don't think this is where they're going to stop at all. I think this is just a little teaser of what they can do with ShareLedger. What I think they're going to focus on the underlying tech, and the main one being obviously ShareID as well. And what else could you use that for? Think about what else you could use that for. So we spoke about e-visa on arrival for Thailand. So people just put in the kind of passport details or the driver's licenses, like a KYC almost, that you can put into your app, and they don't have to stand in those long queues in Thailand and wait for hours in a queue just to get through the e-visa on arrival. And there's millions of transactions that go through that every single kind of year there's going to be. We know that. So if this is a successful trial, and it will be a successful trial, what else could they use it for? They could use it for storing your passport details on the blockchain. Now, if they store passport details on the blockchain and you don't have to go to passport control and hand over all your details, etc., all you use is an app. How many millions of people have got a passport around the world? billions of people. What else could it be used for? It could be used for ID. You know, your standard ID as well. If you're trying to get into a club or something, if you're trying to, if you get stopped by the police or you do something like that, you use it as a standard ID. It's on the blockchain. It's not stored on the ShareRing system at all. It's immutable, so nobody stores it. It's not stored on a central computer. So it's safe. And obviously there'll be more security than I'm letting on here. But if everybody had a share ID or a ShareRing ID, everybody had it just as an ID. And if you get stopped wherever, you could use that as well. Imagine again the millions of transactions they're going to go through as well. What else could it be used for? There's multiple ways that ShareRing ID could be used on the one ID system. Hundreds of ways it could be used, and I think that's what ShareRing are going to be doing. They're going to be focusing on that. But there's going to be other ways it can be used as well, not just for identification, but we've spoke about the logistics side of it as well. So think about all the transactions that would be used in logistics. So if you're kind of tagging something in, for example, if you've got a parcel and you have to kind of book it into the system, then it kind of all the flow through all the way through to getting that parcel delivered. How many transactions is going to be if it was on the kind of blockchain in logistics? So they're taking a one ID kind of system, and they could transfer it to logistics as well. So something that's what I see happening. So there might be 20 transactions from where the parcel is kind of dropped off to where it is delivered to. There might be 20 transactions, and there's millions and millions of transactions or millions of parcels to be delivered or kind of freight or carriage or whatever it is. That could be a huge area as well. So think of Amazon, what they do. Imagine it was on the blockchain, and imagine every transaction that Amazon does is on the blockchain, it generates 2 to 5 cents. Think of that, and then think of where ShareRing could go with this one ID. It's not necessarily just for identification. I think it could be used for so much more as well. So this is what is really exciting. Everything they're doing just now is really exciting, and everything they're doing just now turns into a multi-billion-dollar company. But everything they could do makes it a company as big as Amazon, if not bigger than Amazon. And they're saying it's trying to be the Amazon of the sharing economy. I think it could be bigger as well. Just think about the possibilities for it. Okay, that's ShareRing. In a nutshell, it's meant to be down to about 10 minutes. No way I could keep it down to 10 minutes, do apologise, but that is ShareRing. I think it's a brilliant time to get in. I think it's an amazing company. I think it's got amazing kind of CEOs as well, and the founders are amazing as well. I think this could really go places. Just my opinion. Do your own research. Till next time, Namaste.